Hello, beautiful souls. Hello, beautiful empaths. Good morning, good evening, and a very good afternoon to everyone, each and everyone out there who's watching Denzemos. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's a new day. We have a new subject today, and I'm going to talk about how the narcissist steals your identity. Now, guys, if you're new to this kind of content, please take a moment, like, share, and subscribe. So, boy, Denzemos, and of course, if you've been with me all along, I'm very pleased to have you guys back on board. It's a pleasure to have you guys, and continue to support the channel. Share, like, subscribe, and let the content get out there. There's always something I talk about that can benefit anyone out there. Can be your friends, can be your family who is dealing with some sort of a narcissistic abuse. Now, today's subject is going to be a bit disturbing. It is very disturbing in the sense that you have never met in your life somebody who has the ability to steal your identity. Now, I don't mean they steal your identity by going and photocopying your travel documents and your passports and replacing them with yours or something like that. It's not that kind of identity I'm talking about. So this is like on emotional basis, a narcissist, what they do to steal your identity. Now, first of all, you need to realize that when you meet a narcissist in the beginning, there is something in particular they have seen about you. There is something they have seen about you very, very special and very exclusive that sometimes they know that they do not have. So it can be something to do with a personality. It can be just your personality. You may be somebody with a very good personality, you may be somebody with a very good heart, empathy. And there is something in you, what you have with you, that they really deeply admire and they cannot show. So what a narcissist does, because a narcissist is they are very jealous people. They are very jealous and very, 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 very insecure about themselves. So what they do, they will get into that relationship with you. They will make sure that they forge a relationship with you, and once you get dragged into their circles, into their mind games, if you get convinced, if they successfully get you trapped into that relationship, you're going to find out that the narcissist now, they are starting to mirror you and to copy you. So how do they do that? You can find sometimes that you've got a certain music, you've got a certain type of music you like, you love. As a person, because everyone has got their own identity. Everybody has got the way how they can identify themselves. They've got a certain food what they love. They've got a certain sport they love watching, or maybe they play. They have got specific hobbies. Now, for the narcissist, because a narcissist, just by default, they do not have their own personal identity. They have got identities which they have been copying for long periods of time. They could have copied these kind of personalities or identities from their parents, like the families where they have grown up from, they have grown from. Or it can be some identity identity that they have actually mirrored or copied somewhere from their friends. Maybe they know that their friends are wearing a certain type of shoe, so they go and buy that type of shoe. They know that their friends love a certain sport, so they go and copy and start doing that same sport actually. So most of the time you can find that they are moving that new learned identity from their old circles, the people they have been with and discarded, whether it was a friend or a partner, it doesn't matter. And then they are moving with that identity to the new relationship. So when they move in with you, they have already learned some things that they have copied from other people. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, even ex-partners. The people they have already dated and they have discarded. So you're going to realize that the identity, what do you find the narcissist to have, is not their original identity, because a narcissist does not have their own identity. Something what they have personally developed over the years. So they have never developed anything for themselves. They have always just maneuvered through life, copying different people and personalities. So they take those personalities and identities as their own, and then they discard those people. Then when they move in with you, those are the identities you are going to start seeing now. They are going to display those identities. Like this can be so many things. This can be like, you'll find them listening to a certain type of music. You find them eating a certain type of food. You will find them doing a certain type of a hobby. But behind the curtains, those identities actually do not originally belong to the narcissist. Those identities have been copied and been taken off different people that they have come into contact with before actually they met you. It's very disturbing, actually. So when they meet you now, that is when you find now that they are starting to copy you. You're going to see things like, you're going to see some of those things. There are some of those things which are like deep, your inner passions. There are some of your inner passions, things that you love from, like you've all your life done these things, you've loved these things, you've done them, you've cherished them. So you're going to start like letting those things out to the narcissist, to your narcissist in front of you. So what they do, it can be a movie you like. There's a certain movie you like watching. There's a certain kind of a type of music you like to listen. There's a certain sport you love. There is a certain hobby you like. So there are some of those things that identify you as a person. You have got your own personality and some of the things that identify you as an individual. So you're going to find yourself starting to bring out that identity or that personality out of you in front of your narc. And for some reason, the narc is starting to copy whatever you're doing. So they're starting to copy the kind of music you're listening to. They're starting to copy the way you make your pictures, the way you take your photos. They're starting to copy the way, even sometimes the way you sleep, or even sometimes the way you sit in your chair, sometimes the way you dress, even sometimes they are copying each and everything about you. And this, what is happening is that the narcissist does not have their own original personal identities. The only identities they know, and you've seen with them, are the identities that they have for long periods of time taken off, copied off different people who have always been in their circles before actually they met you. So you may be watching a certain type of movies and then you go out to work or something like that. For some reason you come back home and you're going to find them watching that particular type of a movie. So for them, they do not have something that, okay, so this is for me, it is for me, this is what I've always loved to do. They do not have that in them. They only have something always they have copied from people. It can be food, a certain type of food, a way of cooking, a way of dressing. Even sometimes some of the cafes, the coffee shops, sometimes the restaurants, there are some of those things they have always learned from different people before they met you, and those are the things that they have taken for themselves as their own personal identity. And then when you meet them, that is when you're going to realize. So that is it's actually a red flag, because when you notice, or when you ever realize that the person you're dating is starting to develop some sort of a personality or some sort of an identity which looks very similar to yours. It may not be for all of them, but I can assure you, or I can guarantee that for the most and the majority of them, they are going to pick up 1, 2, 3 identity, or 1 or 2, 3 personalities that actually belong to you. So when you ever notice it's a red flag, when you ever notice that the people you're involved with, the partners you're involved with, they're actually doing some things or behaving in a certain way that is very, very similar to yours, a certain type of music you know that you like, or maybe you've told them, or they've seen you doing, or they've seen you watching a movie or something, music, or even a sport, or even a hobby. So if you ever notice that actually the partners you're having, they're starting to get involved actively in that particular thing, personality, or identity that you have, it is going to show you that actually it is very likely you're dealing with a narc, because for them it is about for them, it is for them it's always about what is it from you that they can take. They want to take your personality, they want to take your looks, they want to buy the same makeups you use, they want to buy the similar clothes you have, they want to go to the same coffee shops you're going, they want to interact with the same people you're interacting with. So they copy. It is a very disturbing trait actually of a narcissist. So it is a very disturbing trait, and you will find that they are copying identities from their victims. And then in return, they are giving you their own identity, because when a narcissist is abusing you, especially if you don't know that you're dealing with a narcissist, you're going to start thinking that the things they are doing are actually normal. You're going to start normalize the situation. So even if they're abusing you and saying things, or sometimes even doing things at home, it is going to start making you realize that, think or believe that those things that they're doing, they are genuine and authentic. But behind the curtains, actually, those people, they're disordered. And the things they are doing is out of order and is not normal things. So because for you've been with them for a period of time, you're going to start actually also learning those things from them. So it's like an exchange. They are coming to you and taking your own identity, the things that identify you as a person, and the things that you've always known for yourself and you've developed over the years of your life. Taking those qualities from you, because for them what they want to do, because they know who they are trying to take your qualities and giving you in return, making you copy their qualities. Because when you see one or two, three things, you start to normalize the situation. You start thinking, okay, so maybe a person can talk to me like that. That's a normal thing. So that's what you start to think. You'll begin to think that, okay, so an individual can talk to you or can do something to you the way the narcissist does. So you will think that it's a normal thing. So because when you're with them for some period of time, you will start to normalize those situations and start to believe that actually it's a normal way of doing things, which is actually not true. Because what is happening behind the scenes is these people, they know who they are and they know who you are. So most likely you're an empath. And most of the time you're empaths, you're doing genuine things and authentic things. You're not doing things out of ego. And you're not doing things selfishly. You're doing things that are bettering each and everybody in the circles. So they are taking those qualities from you. It can be some things you say, a way of speaking, a way of making photos, a way of treating yourself, a way of behaving. So they are copying those things from you and taking them as their own identity. And then in return, as they abusing you and showing you all these red flags in the process, and you start to normalize the situation, you are actually taking their identity and taking it as your own. And in most cases, that is why you find that many people who have left narcissistic relationships, they have ended up actually thinking and starting to believe that they are actually the narcissists, because they have started to copy and do those things that the narcissists have always done. And the people have started to think, the people who have left those people, if you have separated with a narcissist, then you start actually to even be worried about yourself that you're actually the bad person. Because you've already copied a lot of those bogus images or bogus personalities from them. And then you start to think, you begin to think that, yes, okay, so this is, I'm the one who was the problem. I've gotten in touch with, various people, some of my clients, who have ended up thinking that they were actually the ones who were in the wrong. They were the ones who messed up the whole situation. They're the ones who were in the wrong. They're the ones who did the bad things. So they're starting to blame themselves, because they are starting to, they notice that after the narcissistic relationships, they have started to do those same things that actually their ex-narcs have been doing, and ended up blaming themselves for the breakdown of this relationship. Oh, you know what? Maybe maybe it was they're thinking that maybe it was them, maybe it was something about them, maybe something they said, maybe something they did, and people are just confused in the middle. They're standing in the middle and getting confused about themselves, and failing actually to believe that everything that has happened and transpired between them and their ex-partners, it has always been about the narcissist, never been about them. And then the narcissist, what is even more disturbing is that the narcissist, after taking your own personality and your own identity, they jump into a new relationship. And then they are using that personality, because it's a personality from an empath. It is something they have learned from an empath, somebody who is genuine and authentic. So they have learned that personality and those traits from the empath, and then they are transferring those things to the new relationship, which actually becomes very confusing because the new partners now they are dating, they end up thinking that these people, they are genuine, especially in the beginning stages of the relationship. They'll start to think that they're genuine because they see some of the things they are doing or they are saying and taking them to be genuine, authentic. This can be the way they express love to you. This can be the way they talk to you. This can be the way they treat themselves at home because they have learned all those things from you before actually they discarded you. So when they jump into the new relationship, that's why you find that they are now bringing all those personalities and traits and identities they have learned and taken and stolen from you, because these people, they are thieves, they steal your identity. And they use that same identity to jump into a new relationship. So when they jump into a new relationship, that is where they use that now identity to help them maneuver through the beginning stages of the bombing stage, the love bombing stage, whereby they are now love bombing a new partner, a new relationship, a new partner, to get them trapped into a relationship. So some of those identities now they are using from you, they have learned from you, they are using them with the new partners. And the new partners, that's why they get trapped in that cycle, because they get into the relationship with them not knowing that that identity was never for them and it was just stolen from them. And it is just a matter of time, like a couple of months or something like that, when the new partners now they are going to start to see the real people, these people for who they are, because those old identities are going to, because you cannot keep somebody's identity for a long period of time. It has got an expiration date. So when the new partner, for the first 3 months, they're going to see something which will make them think that yes, these people, they're genuine, they're authentic, they're beautiful, they're loving, and they're compassionate and empathetic and so on. The identity now is going to slip off their face, because that identity is for a short period of time. You cannot copy somebody's identity because it does not belong to you. This is something like in their DNA. So they have stolen your identity, which is embedded deeply in your DNA. So when they go to the new partner, the memory is going to just play out the memory. Their memory is just going to play out that identity for a short period of time. It cannot go more than 6 months. They may remember some of the things, but of course they are going to forget, because that is not who they are. And then for a period of time, you're going to realize that the new partner now is going to start noticing these people by seeing some of those things deeply hidden in their DNA starting to show up in front of their face. And that is when they're going to start also questioning that there is something wrong with these people. So that is how the narcissistic cycle carries on and on and on. And that is how they are able to jump from one relationship to another, and they are able to switch the masks, because they use the identities that they have been stealing from people, the previous victims before you. They use those identities to hide in those identities to jump into a new relationship with some new person that is in case if you've been discarded. They jump into the new relationship. So when they jump into the new relationship, now the identity will start to fall out with them, because it is not the identity that belongs originally to them. It has been a stolen identity from you. So the identity will fall out, and then the mask will start to slip. That's when those people, the new people, are going to start seeing those people for who they are. And then the drama is going to start again. But at that time, most of the time it's too late, because they have already love bombed you and you have already trauma bonded you. So it's most of the time very difficult. You cannot get out. You start dragging back and forth, and you cannot get out of the relationship, because they have used a false identity that they have stolen from their previous victims to use that identity with the new partner until that identity now falls out, and then they start to copy a new identity which they want to take from the new partner. So that's how the cycle goes on and on. It's very, very disturbing. So if you've been in a narcissistic relationship, just be very confident that whatever is going on with you, it is not you. That identity has been taken from the old narcissistic partner of yours. It has been something you've learned from them, and it has never been part of you. It has never been part of your DNA. So either way, it's not going to stay with you for a long period of time. Once you start healing and recovering, you're going to realize that actually you're going to lose that identity, and your true self is going to start coming out. And then at the same time, the narcissist identity is going to also start showing up, because they are also going to lose that identity that they stole from you. And then they are going to now copy a new identity with a new partner. So guys, it's a bit psychological. This is a bit psychological, but I know many people are going to resonate with me, and I know this all makes sense to the people who know the people they've been dealing with, and to the people who know that they've been dealing with narcissists. This is something that is going to make sense, and they're going to resonate with me. It cannot get any longer than that, guys. I love you all. Stay blessed, and a really nice, beautiful week ahead of you. There's more signing out. Catch you in my next video. Bye.